And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Wakening Lair. Wakening Lair is a cooperative game in which you are going to go with some other players and going through a dungeon crawl. You might say, oh, wait a minute, I've seen this before. Well, this is a card game. It's a fast dungeon crawl. It says on the box here 30 to 40 minutes. That's really accurate. It's some silly fun, getting ready to bite one mega monster. Here's how it plays. So the board here is a pretty long one, actually. You're going to be building basically a dungeon with 11 cards, and you're going to be placing these cards are going to be placed like this, and they're going to be face down. Each person is going to pick a hero. So you'll have a hero, and each hero has two sides, so you can pick which side you want to be. Do you want to be Lars or Lyric, Mobius, or Sesame? They have some hit points here. They have an action that they can do, and they have some types of things that they're good at. So this guy is good with targeting weapons and with axes. This person's good at holy and fire. So you're going to pick one of them, and you're going to take the matching symbol for them and put it in the bottom room of the dungeon. So when it's your turn, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to possibly awaken a room. You'll roll 2 dice. So here I roll 7. I'm going to count it from 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That room that I just counted up to, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we're going to awaken that room. So we flip it over and we show that. There's a number at the top, 1. So there's going to be 1 monster in that room. So it's going to be a dungeon troll. And so that's everyone's going to do that at the beginning of their turn. Now, if you roll a number that you've already rolled, you simply would add 1 more monster to that room. So now there's a goblin fighter in that room. Each monster has a weakness. You can see the goblin fighter is weak to fire. So then you're going to have some actions that you're going to take on your turn. You're going to take 3 different actions, and you can do the same actions multiple times. You can move. And you can move as far as you want, but you can't move through monsters or traps. And you can't move through rooms that haven't been awakened yet. So I can move here for my first one, which reveals a monster. Here's an orc marauder. I don't have to stay there. I can, for my second action, move again. I move in here. Now 2 monsters come out. So we have a skeleton and a goblin wizard here. You can also decide that you're going to fight a monster. This is how you're going to get rid of a monster. So you're going to pick one of your attacks. So let's say I have this guy with the sword, so I'm using maybe Trip here, the rogue. And rogue has an axe and it has poison. So I'm like, oh, the goblin wizard is weak to poison, so I'm going to attack. Now to beat that goblin, I'm going to need to roll a 4 or 5. Let's zoom up here and take a look at the goblin. So I'm going to attack the goblin, so I roll. Ooh, I got a 6. Great. So I do a damage here. And I needed a 4 or higher, and I got it. Now, because I have the weakness, poison is the weapon I'm attacking with, I can press the attack, which means I can roll again. Now I need a 5 or higher. Oh, I missed. I could take another action to attack, or I could do something else. But so pressing allows you, if that means if you hit, you can continue to hit until you defeat the monster, or until you miss. Now, when you defeat a monster, you're going to get an item card. Now, an item card is 2 different things. It can give you a weapon. A weapon can give you a new type or of thing that you can attack monsters with. Or it can give you some sort of magic thing. Once per turn, you can re-roll any single number of dice from a single attack roll. When you take this, you decide which one you're going to use. So I'd put it on this side if I want to use the magic, or I can put it on this side if I want the weapon. Or I can keep it and not do either, so I can give it to somebody else later on. Now, weapons can be extremely helpful. So you saw the weapon here. If I took this worm thorn here with my rogue, I now have a new type of weapon. That's great. But if I take a weapon that matches either my color, so let's say I have the Phoenix bow now, so that matches my color, it's green. Now I get to roll 2d6, and the highest number goes towards the first attack, the second highest goes to the second attack. So now I'm attacking, let's say I attack the skeleton, or I attack this orc marauder, for example. I'd roll 2 dice. Oh man, I missed. I still needed a 6, but I have more dice. It's possible. If it also matches the type, so if I'm sitting here with this poison. I already have poison. Again, that lets me roll 2d6. And best of all, if you get a weapon that matches your color and type, then you can roll 3d6. Also, if your attack types, either one matches the room you're in. So if I was in this first room here with the axe, and I look, hey, I have that type here, then I get a +1 to my rolls. So that would have been probably where I would have gone to fight first, because I'm +1, and I can use poison against that person, so I could press the attack if I succeeded. Once you kill an enemy, they're going to be removed, and you get the treasure, and you can keep going. So the game is going to keep going like this. You're going to be fighting enemies and moving and around and claiming treasure and handing off stuff to other people. But at some point, the big monster is going to show up. But before he shows up, if you stay in a room that has monsters, they're going to attack you. Each monster is going to be rolling a die against you, and if they roll the top number here, then you're going to have to, if I 6 or higher, they hit you. Once they hit you, it's going to get easier for them to hit you, and you don't want to die, because if you die, players are going to lose unless someone has picked up the scroll of resurrection item, then they can recover you. But if one person dies, everyone loses. Now in the monster deck, you're going to have placed near the bottom of the monster deck, you're going to have the Monstrous Terror Awakens. At that point, the big giant guy at the top here is going to be released. In this case, it's Widowfang the Spider. And there is a lot of different monster guys out here. We have Grimgear, Whiptail, Soulbane, and Cindershroud. Oh yeah, and Mudmug. I hate this guy. So each of these are going to move. At this point, no more new enemies are going to come, but hopefully you've killed a lot of enemies as time goes by, because they're going to walk each turn. After each player's turn, they're going to come down one, and any monsters they find on the way down are going to join them, and you got to kill those monsters before you can hit this thing. When you attack this thing, it's done in the same way. Each monster might be attacked slightly differently. This one has a whole bunch of sections that you need to attack. So they each have different numbers of sections with different numbers on those sections. But they also do different things. Like this guy never misses when he attacks you. This guy, all the skeletons go and join him instantly. Cindershroud has different effect markers here. Will be dropping fire. Mudmuck, when you kill him, he splits into two. When you kill them, they split into two, and you have to kill each one. So these are going to be really hard. But if you defeat this, you win the game. Otherwise, if it gets to the very bottom of the dungeon and gets out, you lose. And that's pretty much how you play. I gotta say, I'm really happy with the components for this game. The box itself is a magnetic box like this, and you know, so it opens up like a book. It tells you about the different heroes and things, and has a spot to put your stuff. The cubes might be a little bland. You use these for like effects, and you use these for hit points, but everything does fit in here nicely. And I don't mind using these wooden pieces with the symbols on them. That's pretty cool. The artwork, it's kind of silly. It's cartoony-ish style artwork, almost chibi in nature, but I like it. And I also like how each character has two different pictures on each side, so you can play as a male or a female of these different characters. And I believe, yeah, the ability is the exact same, and all the stats are the same. So just basically the artwork that changes. But each one is really useful. Some are really handy to have, like one guy can move heroes from room to room. That's a pretty handy thing to have. Some let you heal people. So there's a lot of cool things to have. The artwork on the cards is very simple. You know, it's basically just showing you the symbol. Hey, this is holy, and bring out the monsters. The monsters themselves, there's, you know, they're like spooky-ish monster. Again, cartoony though. And again, they show you what they're weak to. It's a very, very easy game. The dice are meh. They're just ordinary dice. But other than that, I'm very impressed. And I have to say, I also like the treasure, and how, you know, as you're putting the treasure under, it's a weapon on one side or this on the other side, and it tucks right underneath your cards. And it's a hard choice, because you're going to sit there and go, do I want that special ability or not? But overall, really good production here. I was very happy with this game. It's simple, it's easy, it's fun, it's fast, it's lucky, but I don't really care that much because of the simple, easy, fast thing. I like the artwork. I like how fun and easy it is. It's kind of like a kid's cooperative game. Now, don't get me wrong. It can be very, very difficult. I mean, I've beaten it, so it's Not that hard, because I don't always win games. But there are some characters, like, I don't know that I would ever want to play without the wizard who can move people to the right rooms, because that really helps you when the monster's marching his way back. You can have a person in the room that's their strength, and then give them the weapon that they need, and they're sitting there ready to wail on that monster. And you're going to need to use a lot of attacks and throw lots of dice. So there's that challenge there. But it's not a hard concept. Hey, you just got to roll higher than these numbers, and you get bonuses for this, and you want to kill a weak monster. You want to kill the monsters along the way. Sure, you can run right up to the final boss maybe and, be ready for when he comes out, but you want to kill as many monsters on the way because A, you want weapons, B, you don't want them joining the bad guy when he comes down, and C, you want the weapons. You really need to get some cool weapons to win the game, but you'll get a weapon. And also, you should build a party so you have all the different colors and a nice spread if possible, so you can go up and fight this guy. I was just very enamored with this. It's hard to think of anything really groundbreaking in this game. But the production is nice. I like it. Feels good to put those blocks in that final bad guy, the little cubes in there, and you're slowly blowing them up. That felt good. It gives you this. It gets you in a short amount of time. You get to fight a big baddie after fighting some small ones. And there's a lot of talk back and forth about working together, and there's the fun of chucking dice. So I don't know that this one's going to be winning any awards for innovative and deep gameplay, because I don't think it's that deep. You just move and chuck dice. But there is a nice cooperative element. We're working together, trying to get to the right spot. And when you roll those dice and kill a creature with some good die rolls, it's an incredibly fun time. I also like that when one person dies, the game ends, so you want to make sure you heal people up and keep people alive. That sort of thing is a helpful, again, it encourages that cooperative nature where one person's not trying to get all the glory. I like it a lot. Very, very cool little game, Wakening Lair. Dice Tower Judgment approved.